The next item on the agenda is to remind you of the bike ride on November 21st on the Baldwin Trail. And we'll be emailing more information about exactly, not the Baldwin Trail, it's
Emerald.
the S line. It's on the S line. Is
I'm on here.
Hey Charlie, do you have an update on the bike ride on the S line?
Yes. We'll be meeting. There is a city parks and recreation building right at the beginning of it there on Union. And it's right between Beaver Street and Kings Road, right behind Standard Feed. Everything's scheduled to go. I'll have a table and a tent set up down there. It's good parking. And we'll just go on a short ride. We'll see who shows up. I've got maps so we can go on a real short ride that I'll lead, kind of point out some of the stuff that's going on down there. And then have a map and everybody can do a longer ride that wants to.
Perfect. Thank you, Charlie. It's going to be really fun. And we will be emailing all the information about the ride so that you'll have it. It starts at 10. And right now I'd like to ask Ike to present to the club.
Thank you, President Mary Pat. Recently, the nominating committee met to select their recommendations to lead the club and serve on the club's board beginning July 2021. After our meeting, the prospective nominees were contacted and asked if they had willingness to serve. And I'm pleased to submit the following candidate nominees for the officers and board of directors to serve during the 2021-2022 Rotary year. President Ike Sherlock, President-elect Eric Sherman, Treasurer Dane Jensen, Secretary Tim Johnson, Sergeant at Arms Rahul Sharma, Past President Mary Pat Walmar, Club Service Director Ken Baker, Vocational Service Director William Milne, Community Service Director Carter Rosenblum, International Service Director Matthew Heavener, Youth Service Director Gigi Carroll. At this time, the nominations are open from the floor until our annual meeting on December 11th. At the annual meeting, all nominee names will be placed on the ballot. Votes will be taken and tabulated, hopefully faster than they were in Nevada. The candidates securing the highest number of votes shall be declared elected. Thank you very much, fellow Rotarians.
Thank you, Ike. Good job. I know we don't usually do this, but I'm gonna break tradition for a second, and I have a shout out to two fellow Rotarians who have helped us personally in the last week. And from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to thank Dan Griffin and Richard Tackett. We have a family member with a bucket list wish. He wanted to get a new car for his wife, and Richard Tackett personally took them under his wing and helped them identify the car that perfectly fits their needs. So we were really happy to help our uncle cross that item off of his bucket list, and ask for your prayers for Frank's uncle because he's getting treatment right now for brain cancer. So Richard went above and beyond, and we thank him so much. And then who can live without air conditioning? Nobody ever expects that they're going to be in 80 degrees in your house in November, but we were, and Dan and his team really helped us out. So I wanted to give a shout out to those fellow Rotarians for helping us. We have a Family of Rotary report from Bob Hyde.
Thank you, President Mary Pat. Family of Rotary birthdays are always the first item of business. And on Monday, we had two, past President Mike Prendergast and President Mary Pat. Also, tomorrow, Eric Schultz, longtime West Side Rotarian, celebrates his birthday. Those are the birthdays for this week. So a hand for our West Side birthday Rotarians.
Thank you.
I have a sad note to report. Many of you will remember former West Side Rotarian John Schultz. I'm informed that John passed away last Friday. I have no further information and none about arrangements. If anybody has any information on that, by all means, please let us know. Very briefly, I would like to join Mary Pat in a shout out of thanks to all of my fellow veterans. We have quite a few in West Side Rotary, mostly from the Navy, but from other branches of the service as well. From the Resident Community News, edited by our good friend and West Side Rotarian, Josh Harrison, has been named to the West Side, rather the First Coast YMCA Metropolitan Board of Directors. So congratulations to Josh. Let's see. Today's Marty Sack Memorial story begins the way so many of his stories did. It seems that a doctor, a minister, and a lawyer were going out on a deep sea fishing expedition. It went well for a while, but a squall came up, killed the engine, and the captain died of a heart attack. To make matters worse, a huge bunch of sharks began to circle the boat. The minister spoke up and said, listen, my deep faith will see me through, and I volunteer to swim to shore to get help. And the doctor says, no, Padre, we need your prayers, so you stay here, I'll go. And the lawyer insisted that the other two stay put. He said, look, I think I can do it, so please let me go. So as the lawyer got up on the stern of the boat to jump in, all of a sudden, all the sharks formed two lines about 6 feet apart facing each other. And the lawyer jumps in and begins swimming safely to shore between the two lines of sharks. And the minister says, it's a miracle. And the doctor says, no, that's the greatest display of professional courtesy I've ever seen. Mary Pat, this concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And with that, Ike, would you like to make today's program introduction?
Thank you, President Mary Pat. It's my pleasure, fellow Rotarians, to introduce Giselle Carson to the club. Giselle is recognized U.S. business, immigration, and compliance attorney. She partners with growing and innovative organizations to hire and retain global talent to keep America great. She's been practicing law for over 18 years and has dedicated her practice to business immigration law. She's a marathoner and Ironman triathlete. She is the author of Beyond the H-1B, A Guide to Work Visa Options, which can be found on Amazon. And there's a link in your Westword to that book on Amazon. Professionally and personally, she's crossed many finish lines. She serves on several distinguished local boards. She's a graduate of Leadership Florida and Leadership Jacksonville. She's received many distinguished recognitions and awards. Most importantly, she uses her personal and legal experience, energy, determination, and passion to help clients achieve their business immigration goals. Fellow Rotarians, I'd like you to welcome Giselle Carson.
Thank you. Thank you, Ike, and thank you to all of you for having me with you. One, let me say thank you to the veterans that are part of your club and all your relatives and we're here because of you all. So thank you, and congratulations to your new board. New year, new goals ahead. So, and I know we're all hopefully looking into a amazing 2021. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about what has been like for an immigrant coming to the United States through the global pandemic that we have had. Sometimes and actually I was talking, this is my 4th virtual call meeting for the day, and I'm sure for all of you, some of you, it's been about the same. And earlier this morning, I was talking to an HR manager, and I, kind of talking a little bit about the story. And she said, Giselle, sometimes we forget how amazing we have things in our country, even though we have challenges every day. But it's coming from abroad, it's even more complicated. And I want to make this presentation as educational and engaging for you as I can. So please, please, please use the chat, raise your hand, ask questions, because I live immigration. And actually, I want to thank Ellen, who is over there with that beautiful mountain background, because she's going to be my co-panelist here and assisting me. And this case that I'm going to talk to you about, she worked hand in hand with me on that case, and she hasn't seen this presentation necessarily, so it would be interesting to see. And Patty saw some of it, but it's been updated based on feedback. So and the feedback is from you all to help you. So again, engage with me. This is for you. So let's begin. And who's pulling up the presentation?
It'll be me. Just give me 1 minute.
Well, Ellen does that. I hear that Mike Tanner, who's the Florida bar president, is also with us. And there's also quite a few attorneys that are members of the Wayside Rotary. So thank you, colleagues, for being there. And I know some of you know me from the profession, so I appreciate you being here. So here we go. An unforgettable immigration journey through a pandemic. Next slide. So imagine this. Imagine moving within the United States. And for all of you in the call, I'm sure I've moved from Cuba to Canada, Canada to the United States. So I've experienced moving a few times. I'm well in the United States. I've probably moved 5 times, apartments, homes, and whatnot. So for all of you, just think about what it is just moving within the same city, within the same state, within the same country. I don't know if some of you have moved in and out from abroad, but if you have, then you also have another perspective to all of this. So moving within the United States, use that as your background, moving then internationally. And then on top of that, have COVID proclamation, travel bans. Now, in this particular case, we had daughters, the daughters of our client involved in the process. And then on top of that, be very positive and envision success at the end of the day. So this is what we're going to go through as we speak. Okay, so this is a poll time. I'm not sure if you have used polls in your presentation before, but I hope you have. And if you haven't, this is your opportunity to try it out. How stressful was it moving for you? If you've moved, which hopefully some of you have, what would you say? Extremely stressful, and you can use your little buttons to offer your response. Extremely stressful, very stressful, somewhat stressful, an easy walk in the park. What would you say? Go ahead, put in your answers, submit. And then we'll give you a few minutes and Ellen will pull in the results.
All right, I'll end the polling now and then I will share the results, if you can see.
Okay, yeah, this is kind of consistent with what we've had in the past. So extremely stressful and very stressful. And I mean, I think it's considered like a divorce, or hopefully none of you have gone through that, but maybe, divorce, moving houses is like on the high level of stress. So that's the backdrop of this story. All right, next. All right, so this is our background, the background of our foreign national, and I'm calling him Adam. He was moving to the United States. He is a global company CEO. So he has a very successful company abroad. and he was moving to the United States. They had a branch in the United States, and they were expanding that branch. He's married, 2 daughters, both teenagers. He was referred to us by a local attorney, actually, that knew that this is my area of practice. We had a strategic call with him to kind of figure out, what visa, what is the timeline. We decided on an intracompany transferee, which is an L1 visa. That is the visa that allows someone that is a manager or executive abroad to transfer to the United States to a similar company. We started the foundational work in October of last year, started the deep work, collecting documents and, making sure that we had what we needed, and literally starting the foundation of the more of the foundational work in January. Next slide. So this was kind of the timeline again. He's abroad, we're here. January, gathering, strategizing, preparing documents and information. February, first COVID-related travel restriction is issued. March, suspension of all routine visa services. How many of you have had to obtain documents from abroad? Anybody on the chat? How many of you have had to renew a document in the United States through the pandemic? Or raise your hands and just let me know yes, no. Renew the driver's license. Try to obtain a document from the courthouse. Let's see what we're saying here. Yes, yeah. And if you haven't, it has been an experience in the United States. Just imagine, so I see some of you saying yes, thank you. Imagine having to do that abroad, where, and in this particular case, we were trying to obtain share certificates of a company that had been founded for many, many years. Of course, the courthouse and any of the government offices were closed. So all of that is added to all of this. And I thank you, those of you that are putting in your comments in the chat. And at some point, I'm going to call on some of you also to kind of tell us your story. So here the timeline continues. Again, keep on thinking of all of this. We're global company, offices, government offices are closed. We're trying to collect documents. March, we have USCIS suspended all premium processing.
Giselle, how about you explain what USCIS means?
Oh, thank you, Ellen. I take some of these things for granted. So USCIS is the government office the immigration office in the United States. So US for the United States, CIS, Citizenship and Immigration Services. So when we request a work visa or a green card for a foreign national, in most cases, it's filed with USCIS. So thanks, Ellen. So in this particular case, the client was abroad, but the first step of the process is to file a petition with the US Immigration Services to grant us or deny or request additional evidence on that particular case. So that's like the first step. USCIS has a service that is called premium processing. Based on the name, does anyone know what that could mean? Premium processing? The more you participate, the more fun you have, I can guarantee you. Premium and processing. Any guesses? Higher cost, yes, for sure. That's one part of it. What else could that mean? Premium. If USCIS has been known for anything recently, it's for huge delays, okay? Cases that sometimes took 6 months now are taking a year. Faster, yes, thank you, Philippe. So there we go. Between Sean and Philippe, we have the answer. Premium processing, higher cost, faster service. Yes. So that's what we were willing to pay for. Faster service and pay more. But USCIS took that away from us in March. And basically something that could have been adjudicated in 15 days based on premium processing under regular processing would have been December of this year. Okay, so again, keep all of this in mind. And some of you that have moved, again, just think when you're moving, you're leasing an apartment or a house or renting or buying, you're making sure that your kids can go to school. And all of a sudden, something that you thought could have been adjudicated by June, now by taking premium processing away, could be December. Okay, so this is all that is going on. Then April and June, we have proclamations. First proclamation, there is a ban on non-immigrant visas. June, second proclamation, ban on non-immigrant visas. So for some of you that follow some of these proclamations or the news about them, basically it meant, the combination of those two, that anyone that was abroad, like my client, even if USCIS would have processed their petition and would have, you know, say in April, we would have had an approval, the consulate abroad would not have issued that person a visa to come into the United States. And Larry says it gets worse. Yes, it does get really, really bad. So we get, and what I try to do here is I kind of put little quotes from the emails from the client to us so that you get into, you know, what's happening to in his mind as this is evolving. So he sends us an email that says, will the announcement of the 60-day hold on immigration affect me? We're having to make significant adjustments with moving, the girls' school's admissions and our travel. We have leased a house in Florida. The lease begins June 1st. So, and this is the backdrop that is going on. And then all of these closures, and actually, I mean, many of you are business owners. And when I did this presentation to another Rotary, one of the members put in the chat, oh my God, and you told us this person had a business abroad. What was going on with his business? And I was like, you know, I actually need to add that to some of the slides, because that was the other thing at the back of his mind when I was requesting documents, and you know, we needed tax returns, and he was like, oh my God, Giselle, I'm also dealing with, you know, the workers that are not coming to work because of COVID or because a family member is sick or for whatever reason. So in addition to all of this, he's managing a global company with all of the problems that come with that. So next slide. July, and some of you may have seen this in the news, ban on international students. So some of you that saw that, what was your understanding from the proclamation on ban on international students? And I think it was a tweet that came in on a Sunday afternoon or a Friday evening or something that said no more international students coming in. Did any of you have kids that were going to school that had colleagues that were affected by this ban? Anyone in the chat? No? Did anyone, a friend? Okay, Philippe, thank you. I appreciate you participating here. So basically what happened, the government decided if the schools are going completely online and you're an international student, because part of your education involves going to school in person and the schools are transitioning fully online, we're not going to issue any immigrant visas or any student visa to this international students coming to the United States, because basically the schools are going online and you don't need to be here. So then I get the email from Adam. what if my daughters can't get visas and they can't start school? So again, here he has 2 teenagers. One actually had been accepted at University of Pennsylvania, I think. The other one is going to school right now in Orlando. So again, I'm sure some of you on the call have kids. Okay, our Rotary, so Patty is saying our Rotary exchange students were not allowed to come in this year. Yeah. So, and I appreciate that, because I mean, it brings it more into perspective when you have experienced some of this, so you can truly relate to what's happening to him. And again, obviously he has a company that he wants to be here because he wants to further his company in the United States. The business opportunities are much greater now that he's here, but he's also thinking about his daughters. And again, any of you that have had teenage daughters or have teenage daughters or children, just imagine what it has been like for them going to school, not going to school, attending to school virtually. Here are 2 girls that are coming in from another country that have to incorporate into a new school, into a new education system, and they don't even know if they're going to be here in July. So after weeks of trying, the daughters, first they applied to their home country consulate, which said no, we can't do it. Or no, first they applied to their country of origin home country consulate, and they did get an appointment. And soon thereafter, they got an email from the consulate saying, sorry, F1 visa appointment canceled. So that was a no-go. So we were not giving up. They have the company has a headquarters in one country and has a very substantial branch in another country, and our clients have residents in both countries. So we said, okay, let's try to get an appointment in the other country of residence to see if we can get a visa appointment there. And we went there. They applied, they got the appointment. And in that particular country, they're very, very, very strict on who comes in and out of the country. They have really controlled the COVID cases significantly. So they got permission to travel to that country, and they were in quarantine. They attended the visa appointments, and the daughters were issued visas. Now, have any of you traveled abroad? Have any of you had to quarantine anywhere? Anybody? No? No? Ike? Okay. It is, I mean, I haven't. I've traveled, I have not traveled internationally. I've traveled in the United States, but for my clients that are traveling internationally, it is tremendous. And I mean, I have probably, I don't know, I would say probably about 20% of our clients right now are traveling because of various reasons, even though every time I get an email saying I need to go home, I'm like, oh no. But sometimes you have to go, and it is an experience. So again, this ladies, the daughters went into quarantine, came out of quarantine, got the appointment, came into the United States August 31st. So that was our first victory, and we were thrilled. Next slide. So then August was a good month for us. So premium processing did resume eventually. And this is a photo of what their L1 visa packet looked like. This is what so imagine collecting all of those documents over, from abroad into the United States through a quarantine, through a global pandemic. That's the end result. Thankfully, in August, again, the girls come into the United States, the L1 visa gets approved. And then we go on to the next step. So if you remember, I said USCIS is the first step. You get an approval from the USCIS that the petition is approved. And then you have to go to a consulate to get a visa. And before I go there, let me read from Larry here. My wife is Italian with a passport getting ready to expire. Yep. Consulate said appointments are severely limited due to COVID. Got an appointment after the expiration date. Consulate says it shouldn't be a problem. Don't like the answer. Yep. Yeah. Good luck, Larry. I am sending my energy, passion, and best wishes to you because it is very difficult. Make sure that the passport is tracked when it gets mailed, and you know, I'm sure she'll get it back and it will be renewed. But I actually had to renew my own passport through this pandemic in the United States, and I was so afraid that I was not going to get it back, but it's here now. So I'm sending good luck to you, and thank you for sharing. So we're not done yet. We have an approval, and so Adam says to us, you know, Giselle, typically he was coming in and out of the United States throughout 2019. And now he's been in his home country without being able to come to the United States because we're in the process of processing his visa for 7, 8 months, 9 months. So he's like, I need to go to the United States. So I'm like, oh, you can't do that. But anyway, eventually he comes. He comes to the United States. While he's here, we begin the consular application for him, the L1 visa, so meaning he has to go back home abroad and then come back into the United States. So he emails me, started the application, and we'll complete it over the weekend for you to review before. So imagine this, before I fly on Tuesday evening, I have to fly via Dubai. There are no fly homes until October 3rd, plus 14-day quarantine, scheduling an interview for October 19th, return to the United States via Dubai on the 23rd. If I don't make that flight, my options back to the United States are very limited. All right, so here's again, this is the story of our immigrant. O1 visa is approved, consulate interview approved. He actually got something that is called a visa waiver because O1s were on this proclamation that were banned from being issued a new visa, but he did get one. So I'm going to go very quickly through that slide. When he comes into the United States, the consular office says to him, and this is and I think he came in through New York, Ellen? JFK.
Yeah, JFK.
Which is a very robust international hub. The officer says to him, I have processed, this was at the consulate. I have processed about 30 visas total this year, which typically, 30 visas, they process those in a day, on a typical day. 0 L1s in the last 6 months. So I had to do some further research, Eventually he gets the visa. So we get an email back holding the thumbs up that nothing comes up before Friday when I collect my passport. Many, many thanks. By the way, my dogs arrive in Miami on Monday. They got their visas in 1 week. Go figure. All right. He has a good spirits, and I totally appreciated it. Next, Ellen. Okay, poll time very quickly, because I don't want to run out of your time. So let's see what this one says. How long does it typically take someone like Adam, who entered the United States as an L1 CEO, to become a naturalized U.S. citizen? All right. Time for you to submit your responses. Two years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years.
All right, I think we have most people's polls in. I will end the poll and share the results.
Okay, 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. Okay, so 7 years is probably the best answer. It could be 5, it could be 7, so you're all pretty good. 2 years, it wouldn't happen. And I specifically put this question here because we hear that in the news a lot, and you will probably hear a lot more as we go into a new administration, potentially or not. But you hear becoming a U.S. citizen and whatnot. And so that you know, someone that comes into the United States, like our CEO, on a green card that is based on their employment, that's the basis for their green card. And that's how I came into the United States, based on a green card employment base. I had to wait, and everybody else has to wait, at least 5 years from the time that you get your green card to apply for naturalization. So at a minimum 5 years. And in most cases, it takes 7, like our CEO. I mean, he's got his L1. We're going to start working on his green card next year. And then by the time we get around to actually applying for naturalization and the delays and whatnot, it's probably going to take about 7 years by the time he becomes a U.S. citizen. So that's just as background for you. Anyone in your club has been through the green card process? It's a foreign national. I have, Philippe. Thank you, Philippe. No wonder I like you so much. Well, yay, welcome to our club. I appreciate you. So here I'm sharing to you something that not many have seen, and we're very proud of this. This is the visa that our client received, his L1. All right, Philippe, yay. My wife, Larry, yay, Larry, thank you. So here is Adam's visa stamp. So this is what he used to enter the United States. It was official. And let me see what I put on the next slide, because I think I had a comment about this. Oh no, go back then. Okay, so and that's what I was thinking, JFK. So the other email that I received from Adam when he came through JFK is the officer at JFK also said to him, oh my God, an NIE. I had not seen one of these ever yet. So it's like, whoa, we're trailblazers of immigration. We've been, so next slide, Ellen, because that kind of leads into this, really to get over the last 10 years, it's probably been over the last 10 years, but I meant to say 10 months. To get, to continue to practice and stand for the rights of our clients and manage the ups and downs of their emotions, of our emotions, and the uncertainties of the immigration process, the uncertainties throughout the world. It really has taken a significant amount of education for myself, my team. We're spending hours and hours just kind of keeping up with what's the next change or the next thing that we have to prepare our clients for. So staying engaged, staying passionate about what we do and informed. It's been the only way to be able to help our clients. And as you heard before, the passion for me has gone to the point where I actually wrote a book about all of this that, I give to my clients. So if any of you is interested in getting the book, email me and I will send one to you. I love to connect with all of you on LinkedIn. So that's another way to connect with me. Next slide, Ellen. I appreciate having me here. I appreciate particularly a lot of you that have, engaged in the chat. We're passionate about what we do. We're passionate about this country. We're passionate about the immigrants and the employers that we represent. And I hope that, if you have a need for what we do, reach out to us. We're here to help. And I tremendously thank you for your engagement and having me here. Thanks. And my team, without them, and this is them, this is the people that also make it work behind the scenes. I couldn't do what I do. So thank you. And thank you, Ellen, for being here with us. And that's it. That is the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Giselle. Thanks for being with us. Did anybody have any questions from the gallery for Giselle about the process?
Let me see.
Giselle, I'm gonna need passports for my 2 sons who haven't had passports in the past.
Mm-hmm.
How much longer is this process now than it used to be?
Yeah, so actually I don't know if this is my new one. Well, this is my husband's new one. But it took us about 4 months from the time we mailed these to get them back. And we were renewing. So again, the expedited service for US passports was taken away. I don't know right now what the situation is, but again, up until about a month ago, there was no expedite. So you basically put it in the mail. I tracked it, so I knew when they got it, and pretty much the website said, we got it, don't call us, we don't have any updates. And so I was just like, scared, but they're here. So it may be 4 months, it may be a little longer if it's new.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other questions? Was this helpful? Did you learn something? Okay.
Giselle, are you able to say where he was coming in from?
South Africa.
Okay.
In general, yeah.
And what was the second country of citizenship for him?
That one I'm not gonna. It's a small country, so it can, yeah.
Okay.
But it was on the other hemisphere.
What a journey.
Yeah. And I was going to say, Giselle, thank you. My name is Dan Maloney. I work at the zoo. I think it's important for people to realize how hard it really is for people from other places to become U.S. citizens. We had a staff member, South African, had lived in this country for 14 years, had worked at the zoo, had been being, full-time, fully benefited. His children were born here. His wife was from South Africa. We even footed the bill for some immigration law intervention.
Right.
We signed on. We did all kinds of things. He had worked here for about 9 years. He ended up getting a job in Israel because he could not become a resident. So it's very difficult.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Dan, because we do, you hear mixed messages sometimes. And I mean, at least a lot, I would say 100% of the people that I work with are here trying, and they're just like me. We come to better ourselves and to really contribute to the country. And it's a very, very complex process. And when things go wrong, they really go wrong. And it's just, it's a nightmare. So yeah, and truly we have a lot of passion and a lot of compassion for us and our clients. So yeah, Clay, let me see. Thank you, Giselle, very informative. Is there an end in sight for this delayed process? I wish. Truly, I don't see, in fact, I sent an email to a client, or we're going to send an email to, we file an I-140, an immigrant petition for a client, a manager, similar to this client, but she's been in the United States now for 6 years, in the process of getting the green card. Anyone want to take a guess how long that I-140, that immigrant petition, so this is what USCIS needs to process now for her to next apply for a green card? Anyone wants to take a guess as to the current processing time? And that is not, I cannot premium process that I-140 yet. So anyone in the chat, just take a guess. How long is, what is the current processing time for USCIS? There's no wrong answers. What percentage, somebody says 1 year. Anyone else? Ellen, what was the last check you did?
9 to 11 and a half months and going, and it just keeps getting pushed back. Before it was somewhere between like 8 and 10. So it just keeps moving.
Yeah. And this is a manager of a company that, again, she's on an L1, Canadian company, headquarter, came to not Jacksonville, but she's in Northeast Florida. She's been here for 5 years, developing her company, a startup. So from the ground up, she's a manufacturing company. And now we're going into her green card process. And to keep her here employed, we need to get through this green card. And we have 10 months of processing with no end in sight. So yeah,
there's more questions there.
Okay, I was close. How does an immigrant who's not wealthy go through this process? Yeah. So it's not, I mean, it is sure it costs money to go through this process. I mean, because one is so lengthy, so complicated. So it's not necessarily the wealth. I think to more is to have the right guidance and to be engaged and to, be alert as to and proactive. Many people, I get so many calls of people that try to do it on their own because they didn't want to pay attorney's fees, and they end up with denials that I cannot fix. So they would have been better off consulting with an attorney to begin with, and they would have saved more money and time. So it's, again, the time, the money is one piece of it, but this is their lives. This is their lives of themselves, their families. And again, we got a petition back from another client that tried to do it last year on their own. And I looked at it and it was a mess. It was, and that's what USCIS has now in their database. And for me to try to clean that up, it's very, very hard. So it's more of, more important than anything is just being strategic. I'm working with someone that has the passion and the energy and the knowledge and the engagement to make it through, be your partner in the process.
Yeah, and know what you qualify for, what qualifications there are, and the documentation to support it. There's another question: what percentage of your clients fail to get through the full process?
Yeah. And I actually have to say this with a caveat, because I know there's other attorneys, past results don't mean that, this is the same in the future. But I am very, very proud that, no denials. I've gotten many RFEs, requests for additional evidence. That is the trend that I don't know any immigration attorney that has not received 100 of RFEs, requests for additional evidence, but we have had no denials. But we work extremely hard on every case. Yeah, so we're very proud of our work.
Very good, Giselle. Thank you very much for being with us today. Yeah, nice round of applause.
Thank you.
With that, I would like to remind everybody that we'll be meeting at our new home, Timuquana Country Club, in person next week. We will ask for your RSVP so that we can plan our meals. Our speaker is Doug Milne, and Doug, if you will, lead us in the 4-way test, please.
Fellow Rotarians, repeat after me the things we think, say, and do in all of our actions. First.
This is the truth.
Second.
Is it fair to all?
Third.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you for being with us today. Thank you to our veterans for your service, and God bless America.
Thank you all. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day.
Bye. You too.